Okay, welcome to 10 minutes on 7.3, special products of polynomials. This is an extension of the 7.2 multiplying polynomials. In fact, you can get away without doing this section. This section just will save you a lot of time, and it also will make some of the factoring sections a lot easier to do later. It allows you to do things a lot quicker if you see them. But it comes down to pattern recognition. First off in here, why aren't we moving? Let's adjust this, do this. Okay. There we are. Multiplying these out. So they give you this pattern. A plus b squared equals a squared plus 2 times a times b plus b squared. Now a and b can be anything. In this problem, a is x, b is 5. And then they also have the one for the minus down here. A is 2x, b is -3, and then they plug it into the pattern. Let me show you where this is coming from. If I did x plus 5 squared, that would really just mean x plus 5 times x plus 5. I do my FOIL. My first, I get x squared. My outers, I get 5x. My inners, I get 5x. And my lasts, I get 25. Well, if you notice, x squared, that's just my first term squared, the a squared. 5, that's my last term, that's my b squared, or my 5 squared, that's the 25. And then in the center here, I get 2 of these. That 2 is this 2 right here. That's the x times 5, or the 5 times x. That's the first term times the second term. This happens every time. If you don't believe it, try multiplying them out the long ways, and then you get your x squared plus 10x plus 25. Like I said, recognizing these patterns does make things easier to factor, what we call it later, which is take the trinomial, go from this, and turn it back into this later. Okay, on these examples down here, just following the example here, fill in what do you think goes in this parentheses. What do you think goes in this parenthesis? I'll give you a hint. The same thing goes in both of them. You should end up with that statement underneath here. And then we have, that's for the square of a binomial. I've got some binomial a and b, 2 terms squared. Here I have the sum and difference pattern, or they call this a difference of squares for the answer. A plus b, a minus b. For these ones, if you try it, I'll do the second one here, x plus 3, x minus 3. The first term, x times x, that's your a times a. That's x squared. The outer terms, minus 3x. The inner terms, plus 3x. And then the last terms, minus 9. Well, these equal 0. That always comes happy. You got x times a -3, you got x times a +3. Those are going to be opposites. You always end up with this negative in the end because you got a positive times a negative. And there's your x squared minus 9. Okay? So when you see these patterns, there's quick ways to do this. You can take advantage of the pattern, go a little quicker to the answer without having to go through quite as many steps. I don't always write out this step. It's something I think you do need to write it out for this homework. Number 8, I gave you an example of how to do that there. And so let's run through some of these. Okay, find the product. That means I'm multiplying. I'm recognizing this as an a plus b squared. So that should equal a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. Well, a is c, b is 4, so I'm going to have c squared plus 2 times c times 4 plus 4 squared. You don't have to use all those parentheses. I like to. The c and the 4 could do without them. In the middle they work well. That's going to be c squared plus 2 times 4 is 8. There's 8c plus 16. There's my answer. We're looking good there. That checks out. Okay. this one, I've got my a minus b squared, a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. Notice it's a plus at the end. Negative times negative is positive. So I'm going to write it underneath here because I don't have as much room there. I'm going to have 3x in my parentheses squared minus 2 times 3x times 2. And then I've got plus 2 squared. That's going to be 3 squared is 9x squared minus 2 times 3 is 6 times 2. There's going to be 12x plus 4. Do I have that over here? I don't see my answer here. Wonder if I missed something. Well, I did miss an answer there. I had 11 answers down for 12 problems, so there's our answer. Get that in red. There's our answer I used. That checks out. We got it right there. Now, one other thing here, too. You don't have to remember this little negative bit right here. That's a little much to remember. You can just remember the positive one and use the signs from here. So I'm going to think of this as a plus b squared. That's going to be a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. Now just keep the signs with the numbers and everything will come out fine. So my a is negative 4p, so that's negative 4p squared plus 2 times negative 4p times negative 3. And then plus, what do we got there? B squared at the end, so that's going to be negative 3 squared. Everything's going to turn out positive here, it looks like. So negative squared is positive, so I have 16p squared. Negative times negative is positive. 2 times 4 is 8. Times 3 is 24, so I got 24p. And then I have plus 9. And there's my answer there. This checks out. We're looking good. You can also always do these just the long way, the way you normally would. So this is what we would normally do. We sit there and we do our FOIL. We get q squared minus 5q plus 5q minus 25. These are like terms. They're also opposites. They add up to 0. That's q squared minus 25. You get an answer. If you recognize this as, oh, this is sum and the difference of the same numbers. And this is our a plus b times a minus b is going to equal a squared minus b squared. I could go straight to that. Okay, hey, I got q plus 5, q minus 5. That means I'm going to have q squared minus 5 squared. That's q squared minus 25. And I got my answer right away. Screen wasn't moving. There we are. I forgot to check that answer. There's my q squared minus 25. That checks out. So let's get back down to here. Ooh, nasty fractions. But again, a plus b, a minus b. So I'm going to have a squared minus b squared. That's going to be 1/2 c squared minus 1/3 squared. Well, 1/2 times 1/2, that's 1/4 c squared. 1/3 times 1/3 is 1/9. And we're done. We didn't have to deal too much with the fractions there. This might also get written as c squared over 4 minus 1/9. You could see it like that too. I'm going to let those. Okay, multiplying out some of these ones down here. Geez, this is 2/5 below 20, 2/5 above 20. That's going to be like what we did up here. So I'm going to think of this as 20 minus 2/5. Whoops, that is really bad writing. Minus 2/5. 20 plus 2/5. Okay, so that's going to be 20 squared minus 2/5 squared, which is going to equal 400 minus, is that going to be 4/25 on there? Because that's a really badly written 5 down underneath there. That's a 5. So that's going to be 399 and 21/25. Well, you know, that's what I got right over there. So let's mark those right. So the 109, I'm going to think of this one as 100 plus 9 squared. That's my a plus b squared pattern. And that's going to give me 100 squared plus 2 times 100 times 9 plus 9 squared. That's going to be 10,000 plus 200, 1,800 plus 81. That's going to be 11,881. Checks out. Looking good. Okay, this last one here, you just got to guess and test it. Find some numbers you can put in for A. So you know it's got an x there, so it's going to be something times x plus another number squared. Well, what number squared gives you 3? That's pretty simple. You get that in there. And then you just got to pick a number, so 2 times the first number times the second number gives you the 9 there. Give it your best shot. We went a little over 10 minutes. Sorry about that. Have a good day.